The store owners say it started shortly after 4 this morning when they got an alert from their alarm system and they came to check it out.
Somebody cut the roof, came in the store, and took the money from the ATM machine.
The ATM was cut completely open. Like somebody cut it with a saw.
They thought that was it, as they saw no one in the store, but about 2 hours later when they were cleaning up,
My nephew told me that he can hear some noise on the floor ceiling.
sure enough, there was someone still hiding in the ceiling.
He ran away, we follow him. I hit him with a baseball bat in his face, and we took him down.
David, who only wanted to give his first name, says the police were here when this happened, arrested that suspect, and then cleared the scene. But as David was telling us that story,
We got another one inside.
Everybody out.
Out. Shoot. طخ بالهواء. طخ. Call police.
customers rush out of the store as a third person is found hiding in the ceiling,
Outside, maybe outside.
and the owners confront him.
Don't move, I shoot.
So once again, police arrive and take that suspect away in handcuffs and search the building again, weapons drawn as they went on the roof before clearing the store a second time.
Tri-Tech ATM, we've been in Richmond, serving Richmond for 10 years now.
Yeah.
Never had an incident like this before.
That's what happened. Everything is fine. Just a message. What he did is stupid.
Everything's quieter up here.
Alex Sosik often comes here to Libby Hill Park to find peace.
I feel like I've got space, like I can just breathe.
It's where she often visited during her darkest days.
I never thought to myself, I want to die, but I stopped being able to see ways that I was able to still live.
Virginia eclipsed a new mark for confirmed coronavirus cases.
2,000 coronavirus cases are confirmed.
Virginia is now one of the many states seeing more cases of COVID-19.
In March of 2020, the coronavirus pandemic led to isolation and intense around-the-clock news coverage.
Show starting, here we go.
For those working in the news business like Alex, it was an especially stressful time. A few months later, with the outbreak of racial justice protests around the country and here in Richmond, Alex's job as a weekend producer became even more demanding.
On the weekends, we have a skeleton crew.
This Wells Fargo has been completely busted out of all its windows.
We're a great team, but I felt a lot of weight on my shoulders.
Armed members of anti-government extremist groups
I usually go without food.
Virginia's healthcare system is overwhelmed.
As the days passed,
percentage of COVID-19 tests in Virginia coming back positive has been increasing.
Last year, the number of fatal opioid overdoses doubled.
Pulled the statue from the water Wednesday morning.
Alex says she started to feel herself slowly spiraling deeper into depression. So much so that a doctor prescribed her an antidepressant.
And it only took 8 days for me to become suicidal on that medication.
With feelings of hopelessness and exhaustion, Alex says she was at her lowest point.
It's crazy how you can physically not be alone but still feel like it.
While a change in medication, exercise, and personal reflection helped, a few months later, Alex says her depression returned.
Yep. This is life at 25. It's pretty sad.
In a video recorded to herself, Alex knew she needed more help.
I'm scared it only gets sadder.
It was then that she reached out to a licensed clinical therapist.
I couldn't see a future. I stopped being able to say tomorrow's a new day. You know, this will get better. I just saw this everlasting loop of making mistakes at work and feeling sad and feeling tired and feeling scared.
With the help of therapy, her faith community, and support from family and friends, including those on her co-ed volleyball team, the tide slowly began to change. A revelation Alex noted in a poem written after months of struggling.
So don't ever give up, because losing one set doesn't lose the match. Having one bad day doesn't mean your life is over. You can do hard things.
Today,
Hey Rob, we are like 45 light because you're amazing.
Alex is thriving, both in her personal and professional life. This month, she joined hundreds of others taking part in the Out of the Darkness Walk, spreading awareness about mental health and suicide prevention.
God is the only reason that I'm here.
While today, there's still occasional tears.
But it's also tears of gratitude because God carried me through it.
She says she's sharing her story to let others know they are not alone.
Everyone around me who shined a light on all these little changes and who encouraged me, who answered the phone, who reminded me that my life has worth and value. I feel a responsibility to do the same thing for other people.
Friday nights in the fall belong to high school football. It's a chance for communities and families to come together, both on and off the field.
There are relationships that are about as close as you can get to being family. You go through such highs, you go through such lows.
For one player at Atlee, it was a Friday night back in May that gave his first indication of what family is really all about.
Said, bring him. That'll be a great way to get him introduced to us. No pressure. We're out of the campsite. We're sitting by a fire. We're going,
swimming
and whatever. And there he was. Friday night at 7 o'clock. He was here.
Izaiah Patterson had bounced around in the foster system for quite a while. He was paired with the Riley family in Mechanicsville, who felt an immediate connection with the child they felt chosen to shepherd.
It's in God's hands. God's going to put the kids who he knows that can be with us, with us.
Check up.
Regardless of if you feel nervous, you just have to push through, regardless of what it is, because you're not going to get to anything if you just give up at first.
Izaiah had played football at the rec league level until he was 12, but had never set down roots long enough to keep up with it, until he came to the Rileys and Atlee head coach Matt Gray, who laid out expectations from day one.
If we could make it happen, would you want to play high school football? He's like, it's like a dream.
You got an opportunity, but you're gonna have to do it our way. I just need you to listen and do what it is we're asking you to do, and his response was, yes, sir.
Patterson has played well enough to start at linebacker for the Raiders, holding himself to a new standard, supported fully by his new family at home and on the field.
We have seniors right now that have wrapped their arms around this guy and said, yeah, be a part of it.
They accept him as part of the family, and they hold him accountable to being the family standard.
The players are really like brothers to me. They're like family. They're there when I need them. I can talk to them about things. And the coaches, they're really good staff. They make me want to do better.
As the Raiders get ready for their homecoming, they're doing something they've never done before. Players will have their names on the backs of their jerseys for one game only. Izaiah had a decision to make. And even though his adoption won't be official until later this year, he chose to have the name Riley stitched onto the back of his jersey.
I chose to put Riley because they're like family, so regardless, and then in the future, that's what I'm gonna have my name as anyways.
How does that make you feel? Blessed.
It's the best thing ever.
And that's bigger than wins and losses. It's more about impacting people.
It's a small but meaningful way for Izaiah to express the gratitude and appreciation he has for his new situation. The Rileys say that dire isn't a strong enough word to describe the state of foster care for teens right now, but for one young man in Hanover, things seem to finally be working out.
Most of the things that I do now is because I really want to improve myself, and they make me want to do that.
There we go. As soon as you see it, cross the line of scrimmage.
I'm getting ready to go to bed. It's almost midnight, and my phone buzzes, and I look, and it's him. And the text message says, thanks for giving me an opportunity to do something I love. I appreciate you.
He just knows that he's in a better place here than he could have been in the system somewhere else. And I think he just knows that we're behind him 100%.
I did not ever expect something like this to happen to me. Olivia Lewis was in her prime, a senior at VCU with good grades, great health, and a bright future ahead. But on October 4th, 2018,
overnight my life really did change.
the then 21-year-old suffered a brainstem stroke in her sleep.
I remember just feeling this excruciating pain in the nape of my neck.
She jolted out of bed only to fall face down.
I just lay there thinking like I'm gonna die, basically.
Roommates found Lewis an hour later and called an ambulance to take her to St. Mary's Hospital, where she underwent brain surgery. She woke up days later, paralyzed.
Doctors were coming in, shining a light in my eye. People were talking around my bed, and I couldn't respond.
That's because Lewis was literally locked inside her own body. The medical term is locked-in syndrome. It's an incredibly rare neurological disorder that can happen after a brainstem stroke. You can see and hear everything around you, but you can't move or speak.
It really felt like I was buried alive. I literally could only move my eyes.
When family or friends came to visit her hospital room, the only way she could communicate with them was by blinking.
Basically, if I wanted water, someone else would say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, and I would blink on I. And then we'd continue on until I said, I need water.
This went on for 4 long months as she gradually regained movement. From wiggling her fingertips to moving her tongue, Lewis had to retrain every part of her body.
I was a baby, I had to learn how to sit up again. I had to learn how to feed myself.
She eventually moved to rehab and began her still ongoing recovery journey.
There you go. Very good, Liz.
I told her, I said, from my viewpoint, you're going to walk because I'm seeing it.
By her side every step of the way, her grandfather, who she says played a critical role in helping her reclaim her strength. He documented her time in rehab and therapy, witnessing Lewis taking charge of her own body once again.
Libby has an extraordinary spirit, and I'm not saying that as a grandfather. She's had this spirit ever since she's been a little kid.
That spirit of resilience put Lewis on her own 2 feet again in June 2019, but she says her healing is far from over, and even if she had the power, she wouldn't erase the stroke from her life.
Now I really feel like, it was supposed to happen in a way.